Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Okay, Lydia, if you'll start us with a mandala, please.
Hello, dear Lama Sumati. Hello, everyone, of course. Это огромная земля, наполненная ароматами благовоний, укрытая покрывалом из цветов. Великая гора, 4 континента, украшенные драгоценными камнями, солнцем и луной. В своем сознании я вижу их раем Будды и подношу их все тебе. С этим деянием пусть каждое живое существо ощутит чистый мир. И дам гуру Ратна Мандала, камни Таями.
And let's have Anna, can you do the refuge for us? No? Okay. Well, let's have
Yes, dear Lama, yes, I can do refuge. I will do in Russian if you don't mind.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления. Силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого из живых существ. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления. Силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого из живых существ. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления. Силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого из живых существ. Благодарю.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do some rejoicing. Let's start with Olga. What do you have to rejoice in today?
Всем добрый вечер, добрый день. Я сегодня радуюсь тому, что я сделала рабочую
Today I'm rejoicing that I finished the task which I couldn't fulfill for several months. I couldn't find time to do it, and finally today I made it, and I'm very, very grateful and joyful. And also today I met with my karmic partner, a financial karmic partner, and we had a wonderful meeting together. Thank you.
Good. Well, I hope everything turns out all right with your karmic partner, financial karmic partner. Okay, let's go with Svetlana from Finland.
Какую Светлану? Мне? Да. Я прямо не могу сдержаться, чтобы сказать.
I can't contain myself because I want to share it. We've just had a lottery for 1 year on retreat.
На ретрит в Армению.
On retreat in Armenia, which will happen from 14 until 24th of August, and I am so full of joy, filled with happiness, because
большой команды.
We all together with our big team, with Yelena and Victoria, we sent all this information about it to all the different corners in the world and gave an opportunity to participate. And I'm very, very happy that retreat is going to be soon, and we're gonna hug each other very, very soon.
Well, good. Yes, we're looking forward very much to it. Okay, Anna Boyko, what do you have to rejoice in?
Мне, знаете, особо радоваться нечем.
I have nothing to rejoice about. I had some event. I'm learning to ride a bike, and I just fell from the bike several times. And from the moment I started to read Phrasal to White Tara, and yesterday, I managed to ride without any falling, and I didn't even expect it from myself.
That's certainly something to rejoice in. Okay. Lydia, what do you have to rejoice in today?
I rejoice that I will see Geshe Michael soon. So I count the days right now. And I also rejoice that lots of people ask me how to go to somewhere. And I show the direction and dedicate it. And also I like to think that they are Buddhas helping me to reach enlightenment.
Very good. That's a good attitude to have, and I'm glad you had the opportunity. Okay, let's go with Daria, number 1. What do you have to rejoice in today?
Good morning, Lama Sumati. Я радуюсь, фу ты. Я на английском уже, на русском канале. Я радуюсь...
I rejoice that I see you, actually, that you teach us. It's an incredible seeds. And I said to myself, I have to see the magic. If now we have problems with the petrol, I can reach my work, and otherwise how would I do that? By foot. I had to 3 hours. I had to start at 3 o'clock, but I couldn't do it. I don't know, every day, and I'm really happy that I still can drive. And secondly, I'm before Sorjong. Usually people have after the turbulence, but me usually before Sojung I have a lot of mental afflictions because I underestimate some people, and I'm happy that I took notice of it, and I couldn't to replant seeds and do some negativities. But usually I have this kind of turbulence before Sojong.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Let's go with Anna, number 3.
Me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
First of all, I'm glad to see you all here, and you especially. Please stay with us. And it's a great pleasure to be here in the class. Second, I'm preparing for the trip in Malaysia. Next, at the end of the week, I have a flight to Malaysia to Geshe Michael, and I will see him in person. And this week, I'm finishing my Ganden Pragyama practice, 180 days. And on Thursday, I'm also going on a little retreat.
Very good. Very good. Well, enjoy your visit in Malaysia.
A lot on my plate. Thank you. I'm looking forward. I'm overexcited already.
Sure.
I'm not there, but I'm excited.
I know how you feel. Okay, Svetlana, number 1. What do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, everyone. I also rejoice that we are having each other, that we are having you, oh dear precious Lama Sumati. And I also rejoice in positive changes that happening like through the years. Maybe they are not observed very much, but more confidence and inner strength is appearing, maybe it's possible to say. Also, I rejoice in particular today, like there was a moment I was assigned the task which like I was reluctant to do. There are lots of like stuff to do in a spreadsheets. And then like I did it on Friday just to forget about it. And today I needed to show it and I showed it. And after that, boss told to redo it all with absolutely another approach. And then like I got this thought like I wanted to get angry. I wanted to complain in my thoughts and to have all those negative thoughts, but I was like thinking, what the matter? It doesn't change. It's just my seeds, and I decided not to get angry. So I rejoice that we have this wisdom and we can stop our habits and stop our all negative mental afflictions by these teachings and dedicate that we can do it.
Very good. That's exactly the thought process you need to have to catch yourself and stop perpetuating your mental affliction. So very good. Be sure to dedicate it and remember next time that this worked this time. And so you can keep doing it. That's great. Okay. Who's left? Let's see. Our interpreter. What do you have to rejoice in?
I can say in English. I don't know who is going to translate me. Okay, I'm rejoicing that I've helped a person to finish the great amount of work, and I took it for myself because I knew she was short of time, and I rejoice about it. And the second, I rejoice that I am indulging in the hobby of my husband. He's into gardening, and I'm not into gardening. I don't like it, but I help him, and I see his happy face when he does the gardening. So it fills me with joy to help him. And actually, slowly and step by step, I'm starting to enjoy it too. So this is what I rejoice about it.
Very good. Oh, that's very nice to hear. Yeah, my wife, I will tell you about me in a minute. Who's left? Olga Yushakova. Are you there? There you are. Oh, yeah.
Yes, good afternoon. Today I've realized how quickly we have a result of what we do. At work, I took care about my colleague. I wanted to take care of my colleague and offered to bring him lunch. And at the end of the day, I didn't do it. But in the evening, when I came home from work, it was raining and I didn't have umbrella with me. And I was standing on the bus stop to wait until it's gonna finish. And another colleague who stepped out of the bus, she offered her umbrella because she didn't want it. She just had an extra umbrella for me. And she took care of me.
Just happened to have an extra umbrella when you needed it. Gee, I wonder how that happened. Very good. Okay. Well, what do I have to rejoice? I'm rejoicing in all of you that are going to get to see Geshe Michael in person in Malaysia. That's really wonderful. I'm just really pleased that you were able to arrange to do that, because I know it's a lot of work and it's going to be intense and very busy, but very good. What do I have to rejoice in? Well, I constantly rediscover how much I like to do the research I do for the articles I write. So I'm writing 2 more articles, and I'm hoping these are the last ones, because I keep promising my wife I'm going to stop writing, but I really enjoyed the research. I spent the better part of a day and a half on 2 paragraphs, because I wanted them to be just the way I wanted them, and they weren't reading properly. I didn't like them. So now I hope to get started on the rest of the article, but I enjoy it. What else? Oh, I'm going to go see a chiropractor this afternoon to see if he can help with my posture. I don't think he'll be able to, but it's something we've been meaning to try for a while. And yeah, you never know. Could be very helpful. So we'll go see him this afternoon. We're both beginning to get accustomed to the idea we're going to move. Now we just have to decide where. But it's nice to slowly, I'm getting the idea that, yeah, I'm going to move and I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do with all the books and materials that I've accumulated over the years. I want to be thinking about that now so that I'm ahead of the game packing. So that's always fun to pack and see what you. I have a rule in the past. I've had a rule that if I haven't looked at a book or worn a piece of the clothing is not the same. Now that I'm a monk, I'm kind of restricted in what I wear. But so I guess pretty mundane. Okay, let's go on to class. I did get everybody, I think. Yeah. Okay. So, art of reasoning, class 6. No. Hang on. Some days are better than others. Okay, file. There we go. Okay. Boy, I had me a little worried there for a minute. Okay. As promised, I have questions I'm going to ask from the homework. So, feel free to volunteer to answer. Who is the founder of Buddhist logic?
Buddha himself.
But that's an interesting answer, but that's not what I was looking for. Master
Dharmakirti?
Dignaga.
Naga.
So have you done the homework? Well, we're still going to ask the questions. This is difficult because we're doing 2 classes a week and they're not very far apart. But anyway, what was the title of his book? Compendium on Correct or Valid Perception.
Master Dharmakirti, the author of this book.
What is a quote from Lord Buddha concerning judging others? Go ahead, Sadhana.
If someone like me can judge the others, but if someone is not like me and they will judge, they will fail.
Good. Right. So basically saying you don't know what the motivation for any particular action is that somebody's doing. You think you do. Often you may be right, but the fact that you don't know for sure should make you hesitant to have an opinion. Whoops. Okay. What are the categories into which all things are divided? We had that map and it said all existing things are divided into 2 categories. What are those categories? Yes, Anna?
Changing things.
Changing.
Oh, please continue.
Go ahead. The Anna that's walking.
Изменяющиеся и неизменяющиеся вещи.
Changing and unchanging things.
Right. Right. And what are the three subcategories for changing things?
Ментальные, концепция и физические вещи.
Mental concepts and physical things.
Very good. Very good. What is the definition of an unchanging thing? This one's a little bit tricky. What is the definition of an unchanging thing? Yes, Lydia?
It's unchanging thing. It's the existing thing which does not change from moment to moment.
But there's a critical extra thing to put in there. Any existing thing. Yeah, remember that. Any existing thing, which is not such that exists only in a moment. And I like to use the Star Trek transporter as an example of that. In the Star Trek transporter, the person starts to transport a little more than they blink out. But emptiness, an unchanging thing, it's either there or it isn't. It's not that little change, instantaneous change from moment to moment. Okay. So the goal of these classes, the logic that we're studying, all the ACI training is to become a being that can just sit somewhere and help every living being in the entire universe without any conscious thought, without getting tired or bored. This is called Lundra, the idea of being a perfect match to countless people simultaneously, emanating as exactly what they need and when they need it. To do this, we must become fully enlightened. Mahayana enlightenment. What other kinds of enlightenment are there? What's the other kind of enlightenment we've talked about? Go ahead, Anna.
Hinayana enlightenment, this is nirvana. And Mahayana enlightenment is a total enlightenment embodied with bodhicitta.
Uh-oh. Oh, we just blinked. Very good. Okay. We must cease all mental afflictions, reach nirvana, and then going on. To do this, to reach arhatship, we must have first become an Arya, someone who has seen emptiness directly, so we understand the true power of the four Arya truth. To do this, we must achieve Chucho, the direct perception of dependent origination. And to do this, we must study emptiness with vigor and patience, not giving up because of tough courses like this one, and using this deep study to understand how mental images work. Understanding how mental images work leads to seeing how lower reality works, Chucho, then the direct perception of emptiness follows, Tongma. To reach Chucho, we need to study mental images. We need to think about it. We need to dwell upon it. We need to continue to collect vast quantities of merit so that we'll have the karma to study this well and understand it. So one of the key ways of collecting vast quantities of merit is to rejoice in others' good deeds. Be happy for other people. If you can, deliriously happy. So I had a thing happen Saturday. We have a coffee hour last Saturday of the month, and we go and get free donuts and a cup of coffee. Then we have a raffle, and you put in $5 to get 6 tickets, and there's usually about 15 envelopes with varying amounts of cash in them. But what I lately have done for the last 6 months or so is I buy tickets for myself. My wife doesn't like to participate. I buy 6 tickets for $5, and then I buy another 6 and give 1 to each person at the table. And Saturday, one of the tickets I gave to individuals at the table won, and he won $20. So I rejoiced in having the generosity to help somebody else possibly win some money, and they did. I didn't think, well, it was a ticket I bought, you should give me some. It was great. It was just really fun to be able to do that and have the fun of having them win. So that was nice. The power for all this to happen is something called kelwa, a great collection of good karma. If we have enough kelwa, we will understand this class. If we have more than enough, this class will be a snap. And if we have just a little, we'll hear the words, but it won't make much sense. I am blessed to be teaching this course to you. It's a wonderful opportunity to see if I've made any progress. So far, I'm not impressed, but I'm trying. So do the reading slowly over the next weeks so we can talk about it again on Friday. Pramanavartika is not something studied by most people for fun. Debate is not just an exercise in frustration, let alone humility. This is all to understand why we see things the way we do, and why we perceive things the way we do. Seeing and perceiving are not the same thing. Logic is one way to do this, and the direct perception is another. Remember from Course 4, Class 2, the 3 levels of reality? Those things which you can perceive without any problem, right in front of you. Shapes, sounds, colors, touch, your thoughts. Things that at this level are right in front of you. There's nothing hidden. They're right there in front of you. Things which are hidden, you can perceive them through reasoning. For example, if I see a car smashed up against a tree, you may reason that an accident has occurred. Other reasoning leads to understanding emptiness and the direct perception of emptiness. There are coarse and subtle impermanence. The example of a car demonstrates coarse impermanence. Emptiness is a subtle impermanence, and so is the impermanence of a person. You must think it out to perceive this level. It's not there in front of you. You have to work at it. Then deeply hidden phenomena, like the subtle workings of karma, only a Buddha can perceive these things. You must accept them on the authority. You respect his authority or his or her authority. Things at level 1 are clear to everyone. Things at level 2 are things which are the source of problems in the world because people apply different and faulty logic and act upon it. Can you perceive all 3 levels or more than one level at once? That depends upon the subject, not the object. For a blind person, the color yellow is not evident and must be deduced. So the question of whether something is an obvious phenomenon depends upon the person perceiving it. So think of how you would perceive warm if you were blind. You couldn't associate yellow with it. You could associate the feeling of warmth, but maybe it'd be red. You don't really stop and think about perceptions because we have our full mental faculties. This material is not only intellectually difficult, it is spiritually difficult. This is called the Kelwa factor. If this is going over your head, you can either blow it off, which is a horrible idea. You can place it on the back burner, which is better, or place it on the back burner and work hard on serving other people so you will gain the merit that Kelwa to understand it. And that's the best. I remember back in the beginning, I'd gotten a copy of Geshe Michael's translation of Abhidhamma Kosha, and I read a paragraph on dependent origination, which I thought I understood, and I couldn't wait to get to the class and discuss it. We weren't taking the ACI courses yet. And we got to class, and I made a big deal about it. I copied some pages and handed it out to everybody. And then I looked at the page, and I didn't understand it. I had understood it, and then for some reason I lost it. So the point of that is, when you're studying, if it's a particularly difficult point, I've started making notes to myself, summarizing what I believe it to be, the answer to be, and stick those away so I can come back to them later. And that's something I have to worry a lot about. Parkinson's, my hallucinations means my Parkinson's is advancing. I think it's been on hold pretty much for the last year or more, but I think it's starting to advance, and that has me concerned for my memory and my ability to communicate and my ability to cook for my wife. There are lots of things that I need to think about, but I can't take them in a negative sense. I've got to figure out how to approach them positively. Because if there's something I can do about them, I should. If I can't do anything about it, then I have to accept it. So this is going to be an interesting year. I can't say I'm looking forward to it in the one sense, because I know it's likely to be a deterioration. But on the other hand, prepare for it, do the best I can, and just go with the flow. When you sit down and do the reading, generate bodhicitta in your heart, really sit down and think about, this is a unique opportunity to study logic with Geshe Michael. Pause and think about emptiness, beg for the blessings of your lamas and teachers, and pay close attention, reading each argument slowly and carefully. Find one you like and work on it slowly, a bit at a time, so that you can get it. If you get just one of these, you can get the rest easily. Geshe Michael said most students blow off this course to get to course 14, Tonglen, but that would be a grave mistake, so he taught this class, especially to force our minds to have to work at understanding logic. So he has to think we understand it, but we know we understand it. So what is the secret to this mental image thing? Chi Chedra, the study of general and specific, set and subset. We'll illustrate the concept of general, chi, and specific, chedra, using the example of car. And I put car in quotes, and we'll discuss more about that as we go. If car is the general, then Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas can be specific instances or subsets of car. So there's car and there are types of cars, companies that make types of cars. It is also true that every specific chedra, or specific member of a category, can be a general or chi. For example, if Chevys are the general, so Chevys, there was car, and then there's the chedra, Chevy, Fords, and Toyotas. And now the Chedrock can also be a general. If Chevys are the general, then old Chevys and new Chevys can be the specific. So why this all matters will be seen in a bit. Just hang in there. A very general test of whether something is a chi of a Chedrock is that if you wiped out all of the chis, it would automatically wipe out all the Chedrocks. If we eliminate the Chedrock Chevrolet, then all new, all old, all Chevrolet Chedrocks are eliminated. So the term Chevrolet is a valid chi general category to the Chedrock of all types of Chevrolets. If we wipe out all the Toyotas, do we wipe out all the cars? No. So Toyota must be a Chedrock of the chi cars. There are two types of chi, nominal and real. Something nominal would be like natural nirvana, which is a code word for emptiness. It is not nirvana, but we call it a kind of nirvana because it is an absence of mental afflictions, but it is not overcoming them forever due to the direct perception of emptiness and the cessations. Natural nirvana is totally different than normal nirvana, the cessation of your mental afflictions. A pen has natural nirvana, it's emptiness. A pen has natural nirvana because it's a code word. Natural nirvana is a code word for emptiness, and a pen has emptiness. So there's a rikchi, a type or kind which has individual things which are characteristic of it, normally defined as that existing thing which subsumes, includes a multiple of things which are of its type. Now, what does that mean? What is going on here? I just love my computers. Okay. So car is the rikshi of the Chedrock Chevys. Old, new, green, blue, a multiple of Chevy characteristics. Very important to stop for a minute here and think very carefully. If we want out of samsara, we need to get this. We need to take the time to understand this. It's literally life or death. We must think of car as car, meaning the quality of carness. So what do we mean by that? A car, the car, and carness are not the same thing. Carness is not the same as car. Carness is an attribute, a nature, a quality. And there are different objects in the world which are characteristic of that quality. All the makes and models that possess that nature. So carness is a concept. It's something we lay on data. It's not data coming at us. We need to get used to the quality and things characteristic of it. The way in which our reality is occurring is closely tied to this question of carness. The reason we perceive our reality the way we do, what we are doing is wrong. Why are we suffering? Why we are suffering is directly related to understanding carness, this quality car. It's very subtle. Understanding this is what brings us to the understanding dependent origination, leading to its direct perception, which leads to direct perception of emptiness. All the results of direct perception of emptiness, seeing how many lives you have left before Buddhahood, the nature of these lifetimes, all of it derives from understanding this karnas thing. So work hard on these concepts. Beg for your Lama's blessings. Do your preliminary meditation really well. Visualize your Lamas and beg for their help. Quality and characteristics of that quality. Kar meaning the quality of, or karnas. What is that? Chevy and Ford, what are they? Dunshi, mental. Mental image, general kind of mental image. There are three aspects of a dunshi. One, it's a mental image of something you've already perceived, like your refrigerator. Close your eyes and think of something at work, your desk, or a person. That's a dunshi. A mental of something you already have perceived. There's something called a drashi, a mental image of something you have only heard about, but not perceived yourself, like the buildings at Angkor Wat. I have never been to Angkor Wat, but I've seen pictures of the building. If you've never heard of Angkor Wat, you cannot have a drashi of it. You mistake it for the actual object. The Svatantrikas and Madhyamikas persons differ in how they describe this aspect. And we will shift to the Madhyamika because that's the one that will bring about seeing emptiness. You mistake it for the real object. We need to keep pounding that into our brains. We're mistaking what we see to be a real, meaning self-existent, out there object. And it isn't. A car is only what we assign it to be. There's no carness coming from the car. That's something we just have to really think hard about. There's nothing coming from the car that's making it carness. So, Geshe Michael relates that after studying Chichedrak like crazy, you're making tea in a pot for your Lama, for example, and suddenly you realize you're not looking at a pot, you're looking at a mental image of a pot. Because all there is a circle of silver, a black long thing. Other clues are indicated that your eyes can see. Your eye can't see a pot of water. It can only see colors and shapes. Then your mind, under the influence of and ruled and dictated by our karma, organizes that into a certain object. Now, where does the data come from? At this point in my career, trying to figure this out, my wife and I say, your karma ripens, then you see it. So my karma to see each one of you is ripening, then I see it. I project, as part of my karmic seeds, I project the data necessary to assemble. I project data, which I assemble into you. That has to be part of the equation for perception, because there's no data out there self-existently. So that data has to come from a karmic seed. And I say that karmic seed is part of any karmic seed. You have the karma to project the data, which you then can assemble into a teapot or any one of you. Then your mind fills in the blanks and creates a mental image of a pot. You're actually staring mentally at an image in your mind. Then you mistake that for a pot because all you're actually getting is from sense data. Now this is where I need to be careful. A roach on the stove, Geshe says in his teaching, a roach on a stove gets the same sensory data input because of its karma, but would interpret that data as a life-threatening hell realm with a burning hot floor. And it's no more a pot than a hell realm. The roach can also be mistaken as mental image of a mountain of burning hot metal as an external object. He's also looking at a mental dunchi and not a real object. And that's what makes him a roach. Now, this is where I differ in my level of understanding now. I see the pot on the stove as a mental image, luminous mental image draped over the sensory data. I don't know what the roach is seeing. The roach is also projecting. There's something out there, but it's his projection. So he's not seeing. I don't believe that a roach is seeing the same data I am. I think the roach his karma is ripened to be on that stove, to be in the human realm, to be on that stove, and sense a hot, dangerous object. But he's not seeing, I don't believe he's seeing a pot with a handle and a lid that's making tea. But that's as far as I can get with it. Your karma is forcing you to organize things into mental images, dunchis, that are much more comfortable normally. This is what makes you a human. Your karma is the human realm. There is no self-existent human realm independent of the mental images that force you to interpret the same sense data as a human realm. But again, this seems to me to imply the sense data is out there. And it is out there from my seed ripening. It isn't out there for me to organize. Because if it was out there for me to organize, independent of my karma, it would be self-existent. And it couldn't then logically be organized. So that's still a struggle for me. But rather than say to myself, since I'm still struggling with that, I don't understand any of this. I say, okay, I'm struggling with it. I still believe in karma and emptiness. I still believe everything that's happening to me is a result of my karma ripening. So I need to put that into the context of what my questions are and see if I can come up with an answer. But Geshe says it's the karma for seeing. The example of walking out of a room with leaving a chew toy, a pen, the karma for seeing that pen, the karma for the data to drape over the karma for the data to drape the luminous image of a pen on is let me rephrase the data for me to drape the luminous image of the pen on is coming from my karma as well. So for now, I'm leaving it at that. I'm saying, okay, I'm trying very hard to understand and firmly believe that this microphone, this TV monitor, this computer monitor is not coming at me. It's a result of my project. It's coming at me after I project it. I wonder if I can say that. That's an interesting question. We say that it's not, the object's not, this microphone is not radiating microphone to me. I'm radiating microphone and putting it over some data. But once I do that, is that microphone dependent on my karma ripening, radiating back to me? I don't think so. That would imply some existence independent of my thought process. So I don't think it radiates back to me. This all makes tantric enlightenment possible, and you must change your karma so you will see the data around you as the nectar of the gods. Mental images, dunchis, are running our world, and they make everything possible. Every single mental or physical event in your life is a mental image, and you're mistaking them for some outer object. When you do this, you like and dislike, and then you get into trouble. Only when you think of the object as being out there and not as depending on your own mental images can you dislike or like someone in the wrong way and collect negative karma by having these negative emotions. If you really saw that everything you experience is your fault, like every jerk you ever met is just something that you're maintaining, then you wouldn't get mad at anybody. You would just go home and be sad that you hadn't kept your vows and so have lousy karma. If you change your karma, you will be freed from your bad karma and reach nirvana because you understand the emptiness of your world. So this is a struggle for me. It continues to be a struggle for me. But I do believe that if someone came up to me and said, and under the threat of killing you if you disagree, things are not, karma is dumb, it's stupid, it doesn't exist. I do believe I would look at that individual and say, well, you go ahead and think that, but that's not true. I do believe I would say that. I would think it and say it. So let's repeat this sequence again. We have three aspects of a dunchi. It's a mental image of something you've already perceived, like your refrigerator. You mistake it for the actual object. And after studying the Chichedra like crazy, you have the perception of dependent origination, the pot on the stove. Your karma is forcing you to organize things into a mental image that's much more comfortable normally. This is what makes you a human. Your karma is the human realm. To understand emptiness, you must investigate the intimate relationship between Rikchi and Dunchi, between karnas and your mental image in your mind when you think of a car. It will liberate you if you see the connection. So the third aspect of Dunchis, you arrive at the Dunchi by negating all that it is not. Now this, I really struggle with this, because I don't see my mind doing this. Take everything which is not this pen negate it all. Think of everything that's not this pen, negate it all, and you get the pen. They say you're doing this all day, but Madhyamika Prasangika says that's not the critical point. More important is to think about how one's past karma is causing you to see this particular mental image in the way that you do. The texts say, the appearance in the second instant of a conceptual state of mind, which is perceiving a water pitcher of the opposite of all that is not the water pitcher of the second instant. This is talking about negating everything that's not the water pitcher. A classic example of mental image, the opposite of all the pen is not. The opposite of all the pen is not as I imagine it when I perceive something, and that which I mistake as the real pen. If you explore this question, it will take you very close to seeing emptiness. What is it in your mind that allows you to look at the parts of an object and organize its parts, then to understand that these parts make a larger object? The answer is that your past karma forces you to see it that way, which is what makes tantric enlightenment possible in this life. Because if I'm trained in Tantra well enough, I will have the karma to see my mental seeds ripen to see a world that's a paradise. Because that's all I need to make the paradise. All I need. I don't need to pay a lot of money. I don't need to do things like that. I need to have the karma to see the tantric paradise. So there's a rikshi, a dunshi, and then there's a sokchi. This is the physical collection of parts. The classic example is a water vase made of the parts of a handle, the belly, the spout. Seeing how a vase is made of its parts will not help much in having the direct perception of emptiness. What will help is understanding the process of how you conceptualize karnas when you think of a car. This can get you to the direct perception of emptiness, combined with lots of meditation. Now let's move on to Chedrock. Chedrock is the member of a general category, characteristic of a quality. Two classical examples are a working thing, changing thing, which is characteristic of all existing things. A water pitcher, which is characteristic of a working thing. 3 tests on being a Chedrock. Is the water pitcher a characteristic of the general category working things? Is being a working thing a general quality which being a water pitcher is characteristic of? So this is an aside that Geshe made when he was teaching this. By the way, like every bit of Buddhist scripture, understanding these logic topics has a direct impact on getting enlightened. All of the topics are essential, and you have to get a good explanation of their application. If you could come to see that every scripture is directly relevant and applies to your personal enlightenment, you could be called a Kadampa, which means you understand the Buddha didn't say anything that won't get you to your personal enlightenment. So when Lord Buddha is talking about the hell realm, I tend to go, well, I'll believe it when I see it. But he wouldn't have taught about the hell realms if it wasn't important for me to reach my enlightenment. So 3 tests. Is the object a subset or characteristic of the set general category quality chi? Water pitcher is characteristic of, is a chedra of the general category working thing. Another example, the quality of being a characteristic of being a Chevy is being a characteristic of the general category car. Working things and changing things are equivalent, just in different names, so they do not have a chi-chedra relationship. The characteristic. A water pitcher has a relationship with a quality working thing, such as that to be one, a water pitcher is to automatically be the other, a working thing. Being a water pitcher is automatically to be a working thing, but be careful. In our Chevy example, to be a Chevy does not automatically mean it's a car. To be one is to be another, a dachik. It can be a one-way or a two-way dachik. One-way, Chevy, motor vehicle. Two-way, automobile, car. To be a valid chi chedrak, it must be a one-way dachik. There must exist multiple other things that are both A, not the subject or characteristic in question, and still be characteristic of working thing. Is a water pitcher a working thing? Yes. Are all things water pitchers? No. For example, a water pitcher, the subset, the chedrak, is considered to be part of the set of working things, the chi. There must be multiple other things other than water pitchers that are still working things. There must be multiple subsets to make up a set. If not, then water pitcher would be the only working thing around, and all the working things and all the water pitchers would be the same and would not be a chi chedra. In the example car, in quotes, there are many objects that are characteristic of the quality carnus that are not Chevys. For example, Fords and Toyotas. So, we can establish a chi-chedrak relationship, and we could simply say, see, a water pitcher is a characteristic of a working thing. Or if we want to see emptiness directly, we would say that there are many things which are characteristic of a working thing, which are not water pitchers. Until I assign the label water pitcher, teacup, car, to something, it has the potential to be any working thing. But once I label it, it is that object to me from my side. Is it that object for me from my side or its side? It has to be from my side, because nothing comes from the object toward me. Force yourself to think of mental images and labeling. That's the point of all this discussion. We carelessly label things and think they're self-existent. We carelessly label things and think they're self-existent because we don't think through the chi-chedrak relationship. According to the highest school of Buddhist philosophy, every single perception you've ever had until the day you see emptiness directly is mistaken. You've been mistaken the mental image of a thing for the thing itself. This is what's caused all of our suffering since beginning this time. We do not see that we have mental images making up our world. Rather, it seems to be coming at us self-existently. We've been seeing Chevy Impala as a type of Chevy, not recognizing them as a characteristic harness to which we assign Impala. We've been thinking about Chi and Chedrock as the same thing, but they cannot be as we've just worked out. It would be harder to get jealous if you realize that getting to be close to the person you want depends on helping others who want to be close to them and get close to them. When we really know where things come from, we can finally stop behaving in ways that keep resulting in unpleasantness. So that's Chi Chedrock. It's very confusing. We don't think we need it, but when you stop and think about it, we think things self-existently become what they are, or are what they are. And this Chi Chedrock discussion, as you go through it more than once and in the reading, demonstrates that we're assigning everything, the label to the data, forced on us by our karma. In the Chi Chedrock manner. So now we're going to break away and we're going to go to a little bit of logic, formal logic. A very common early debate in ancient India and non-Buddhists about the sound of Om. Non-Buddhists claim that Om is Takpa, unchanging and eternal nature of the universe. Buddhists disagree. Come on, it's a changing thing. We Takpa. Any sound is a changing thing. Changing moment to moment, it's actually a great metaphor for our lives and deaths. Sound comes into existence, stays, and then goes out of existence. So here's the debate. Subject. Let's consider sounds. Assertion. They are changing things. 3. The reason. Because they are made. Anything that's made has to go from being not made to being made, so it changes. Remember the rules for logical statements to be valid. Let's go through consider sound. Consider sound. The fact that they are changing is unchanging because it is never the case a sound is not changing. 3 relationships have to be here for a proof to be valid. So I'm telling you, sounds, consider sounds. The fact that they are changing is unchanging because it's never the case where sound is not changing. The reason has to be a quality of the subject. 3 does connect to 1. Consider sounds because it's never the case that sound is not changing. Well, we're considering sound and our statement about sound is valid. The relationship between the reason and the characteristic it proves must be sound. Therefore, it must be true that if 3, then 2 occurs. Because it's never the case that sound is not changing, the fact that sounds are changing is unchanging. Okay, that's valid. The relationship between the characteristics to be proven and the reason must be such that if you negate the characteristic to be proven and you negate the reason, the relationship is still true. This gets so confusing. So the fact that they're not changing is not unchanging because it's never the case that sound is changing. The set of all things about which you can say sound is changing is equal to the set of all things about which you can say they exist. So this is getting back into Chi-Chedra. And this is equal to the entire set of things about which you can say they have no nature of their own. They only are projections. They're empty of any real self-nature. The fact that these are equivalent sets never changes. This is truth itself. Things that are similar to the quality you are trying to prove. If sounds is the subject, the whole set of all changing things is a group of similar causes. Truth itself depends on whether or not the following three relationships hold true. These three kinds of things are dissimilar to the quality changing thing. Non-existing thing. A sky flower which could grow out of thin air, horns on a rabbit. They do not exist, so they are not similar or dissimilar. Numeral 2. Something other. A thing that's just too big to be similar to the object being considered. Example. All existing things is bigger than changing things, so it's not a similar case. Directly contradictory or opposite. All unchanging things is the opposite of all changing things. These definitions are necessary for understanding the truth of an argument, especially the 5 great proofs of emptiness. 2 objections to a proposed logical statement. Things you can say in response after you hear the cheer, the reason. Tak madrup, no, your reason is not correct. Consider the sky, it has color because it's green. The reason because it's green does not correctly apply to this subject. The sky is not green. You can also say just talk or talk madrup with disgust, disdain in your voice. There are basically 3 answers. You either agree with the attacker, you say the reason is wrong, or it's not necessarily so. Kava Mejung, no, it's not necessarily so. It's pronounced Kyaba Mahjong. If a logical statement is correct, you just agree with it by saying it is, or it does, and the debate is over. Meditation for the week. Perfect timing. Is this concept Chi-Chedra? Take a familiar object, say a teacup. Try to catch yourself in how you're experiencing it. What do you really see? A side view of a familiar object that you then fill out to be a cup? Can you really see the whole thing to know it's a teacup? At what point does it become a teacup? Given that you can see shape, etc., and put coffee in it. The teacupness versus data of a teacup. So, that's a pretty rapid look at Chi-Chedra. But you can, I think you can see from this mind-bending discussion and from the reading how important Chi-Chedra is in understanding and qualifying what we think is coming at us. Chi-Chedra to me helps me understand how my mind works to see that it's my karma ripening, and I'm putting, because of my karma, I'm putting the labels, assigning the labels to what I perceive instead of the labels coming at me. And that's what Chi-Chedrock, the concept of Chi-Chedrock is dawning on me, is trying to tell me. I put the labels on. The labels don't come. Chi-Chedrock is part of my karma ripening. And when I finally get that, I'll understand much better what's going on, and that will lead to my direct perception of emptiness. That's why Geshe said he was studying Chi-Chedrock like crazy. So do the reading, and we'll discuss more of this next class. This is not simple if you don't understand it, which if you do understand it, fine, explain it to me. But this is where it was pedal meets the road, so to speak. This is where you have to really start to think hard and study hard and break through the dilemma of not understanding where things come from. Okay. Let's dedicate this. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. By the appearance of the power of my intentions, by the power of the blessings gone thus, by the power of the realm of emptiness, may all the goals that I may have, and may all my wishes, whatever they may be, come true with perfect ease. Hang in there. This isn't easy material, but it's important to understand. Don't think if you don't get it right away, don't think, well, let me rephrase that. If you don't get this right away, put it away, come back in a couple of days or a couple of hours, try it again, and it'll start to seep in and make sense. But only if you study it. You have to put the time in and effort in to study it. Okay, Anna, I'm sorry I didn't get you the material to interpret. Eka, I'm sorry you didn't get the material to interpret until so late. I will do better. I'll get you the material for Thursday's class tomorrow. Okay, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, dear Lama Sumati. Please stay and be absolutely healthy.
Well, I'm trying. Okay. Bye-bye. Oh, we'll see some of you for Sojung at noon. Okay.
Thank you so much. Stay. Keep teaching.